it's hard to believe, but we have been full-time RVing for over 3 years now. That includes 3 teenagers, myself, my husband who's in a wheelchair, and our 2 dogs. So in that amount of time, we have learned a few tips and tricks, what you would call RV hacks. So today I'm going to show you a few of them to help you on your RV journey. So let's go inside and I'll show you a few of my favorites. This is a little trick that we learned shortly after we started RVing. We needed a little bit more privacy in here. There's a door to the back bedroom, but other than that, wide open space, and the kids have beds here and up front. So this gives us a little bit of space into the bathroom and into our back bedroom. And what we did here, you can easily do this depending on your rig. It might be a little bit different setup, but a lot of times a rig will narrow down somewhere in the back. So what we did is got these command hooks. You can get different hooks like this. I will put a link down below. And you can get these hooks, and it's the one that has like the V shape like this. So we put one of those on either side, and then I just went to either a home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot, or you can sometimes find them at Walmart, and I got the right length of this little extension shower curtain rod, so it can change length between, you know, like 3 foot and 6 foot or something like that. So I got the right size, and of course just a shower curtain rings, and then this easily goes up in here just like that. Sits real sturdy, and then voila, privacy. So we've changed our curtain. It's nice too for decorating purposes, because living in here all the time in your house, right, you get tired of the same colors. Or so this has been changed up a few times, and currently it's white, which is probably a bad choice because it gets dirty easily. But I like the white. It brightens up and freshens up the RV. So there you go, one of our favorite privacy hacks. Like I said, this area leads back to Alex's bed in the bathroom. And that leads me to another great hack that I just discovered, this one actually about 6 months ago, and I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. Curtains. And not just any old curtains, but just fleece curtains. These will be the easiest curtains that you make for your RV. It's just simple to get a piece of fleece, a dowel rod, and cut some slits in it. No sewing involved. I'll show you, this is the one on Alex's bed. Well, it's probably more Carmel's bed. This is just simply piece of fleece. I actually think this was a fleece blanket that Alex and I saw. Not real heavy fleece, just a thinner fleece. We cut it to the size that we wanted for our curtain, and then just put a few slits in it. Can you see that there? We put some slits in it, a couple inches apart, and then we went and got a dowel rod at a home improvement store, cut that to the size that we needed, painted it white, paint it whatever color you want. That's what's great about this. You can mix and match the colors, and you can easily change up your curtains. And then we just weave the dowel rod. So then we have our curtains that just hang like that. Again, this is great if you get bored with your RV decor quickly. These are so simple to switch up and really cheap, because you just go cut a piece of fleece. And then for hanging it, we just got these little hooks. These screw in, and then we slide our dowel rod in there, and then we slide it in the other end, and we have our curtains that are ready to be hung, and they can be changed up anytime you want. All right, so you can tell, even in an RV, your fridge, our fridge, looks just like it did at home with lots of stuff on it. I thought moving into an RV that it would be like, you know, not as much stuff on it, but nevertheless, it looks just like one in our house, which I guess it should, because this is our home. So this hack, though, is a real simple one. This is actually a whiteboard, and we've tried different whiteboards and things over the years, and we found this one about a year ago, and this is actually a completely flat whiteboard, totally magnetic on the back. So this works out best. Our other whiteboards were falling off the fridge and knocking into things, and were just a problem, whereas this is totally flat, kind of like a sheet of paper, and we can just stick it on there and then write all our groceries and all our other things on there. So this magnetic whiteboard, just completely magnetic sheet of a whiteboard, I guess it would be called, is fantastic for in the RV. Another travel hack that we figured out pretty early on in our travels was these stackable drawers. And of course, with a family of 5, and I mean, even if there's just 2 of you, right, there's limited space in your camper. So we tried different sets of drawers and everything, because our bed in this particular model that we have did not come with any drawers or anything on the side of the bed, which kind of made it difficult. With 5 of us, we definitely needed more storage space in here. So if you found yourself in that difficulty, you might try these stackable drawers. Now, we were going to get different size drawers that are set like 3 or 4 to a cube, right, where they're all together. But then we went online and we found these. And these are all separate, so you can stack them. And the nice thing is, when we got these, we weren't sure how many we would need to use. So it was like, well, do I just need 2? Turns out I need 4. And then also on the bottom of the bed, it's a little bit wider. So we were able to get wider stackable drawers for on the bottom. So I actually have 2 wider drawers in the bottom where I can put some of my clothing. And then I have these 4 drawers, which quite honestly, I probably don't need. There's a lot of papers and things in them, so I probably should clear those out sometime soon. But just like in a regular house, things add up. Now, the only problem with these in the beginning was that every time we went to pull the slide in to move the RV, of course, we had to take these down, and we just set them on the bed to store them while we travel. The thing was, I'd have to remember what order the drawers went back in, or if one of the kids stacked them for me and Brian, then they put them in the wrong order, so we were having to switch around. So you'll see I have them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and that way anyone who goes to stack them knows exactly where they go on my stack. And so these drawers have been wonderful, and we actually had, I think I had less here in the beginning, and then I added 1. Brian doesn't use as many as me, so we had a leftover 1 or 2, so we've actually used those other places in the RV. So these are great because maybe you don't need the storage next to your bed, but maybe you could use it in the bathroom or somewhere else in your camper. And so you can get these stackable drawers in different sizes and fit them in different areas, and that way you don't have just a big tower of 3 drawers or 4 drawers. You can kind of mix and match as you need them. Another great hack that you might not have noticed as we were looking at these curtains here is under the bed. And we figured this out because we always need extra storage space. So we kind of figured this little trick out about a year into our travels, and that is to use under the bed for storing things. So this is great for, you can store sheets under here, some towels, some extra blankets. If it's puffier things like this, we generally store them at the top, the head of the bed, because, you know, that way it's just kind of sleeping with your head maybe raised up a little bit. You know, it's more comfortable to have your head raised up a little. So generally Alex's bed is raised up about 2 inches at the head. So we can hide all kinds of things underneath the bed here. You've got all this extra space to put towels, blankets, sheets, anything that you can't fit otherwise in your RV, and that you can make lay flat. Other things you can store under your bed. So generally under the kids' bed, we store towels, sheets, blankets. Under Brian and I's bed, because we can't get to the head of the bed too easily, we get to the foot of the bed. So under here we put things. This is like a temporary tabletop thing that we use, and we have some boxes under here that we use for mailing out gifts and things sometimes. So they lay flat. So those are the type of things that you can put under the bed if you don't want to add any extra height to it. So like here under the foot of the bed. So great extra storage hidden under your beds and no one ever knows it. Okay, this is one of those hacks I discovered totally by accident because I have been known to lose things in the RV a lot. And one of those things that I misplace all the time is the tablecloth. So I couldn't find the tablecloth, and luckily I had this extra fitted sheet along, and I found that this works a lot easier as I take my fitted sheet and use it as a tablecloth, because I can just pull these edges around and ta-da, and it doesn't come off. This works really well for being much quicker than using the clips, because there's these metal clips that you can buy, and you've probably seen these. They're little clips, and they would go on the side like this of your tablecloth to, of course, keep your tablecloth from blowing away. The problem I always had with these was, of course, 1, I was misplacing them all the time, and 2, it just took me a long time to put them on. I was just being kind of lazy, and it takes me longer to put them on. So rather than use the clips now, I have been using the fitted sheet, And you can see it tucks down underneath there and pulls in. So this works really well, and it has never blown off for me yet, and we've been using it like this for about a year now. As far as size-wise, we have run into one place that had a picnic table that was too big for it, so I could not use it there, but for the most part it works. And this is actually, if you're wondering what size this is, it's not just a typical twin fitted sheet, it's the longer twin fitted sheet, which I'll have to look up what they call it. It's one that you would get for like college bunk beds. I had this one that was for like a medical bed, so it's a few inches longer than your normal fitted sheet. And so I've found that this fits 95% of the tables we run across. If it's a little big for it, it's okay because it is fitted so it tucks in under there. So this is a great RV hack. This is probably one of my favorites for having a tablecloth on your picnic table outside. So this is another great little tip. Alex says it doesn't count as like a full-fledged hack, so we're going to call it half a hack right now. And I found this one out. This great tip came before we started full-time RVing. I saw someone else mention this on an RV vlog several years ago, and we started doing it right away. It works out great, and it is to only have enough utensils for each person that travels with you. And the reason we do this is because otherwise you can end up with just a sink full of dishes. Maybe if it's just you and your spouse, there's the two of you, you're really good about cleaning up after yourselves, you do those dishes right away. Our family is not like that, especially with the 3 kids. So we found that if we each only have 1 spoon, each have 1 fork, and 1 knife, then the dishes get done. So it's like if you've used it, you've got to wash it or you don't have a fork to use again. So we have 5 of each of those, and that has saved us a lot. It cuts down on the utensils you have, and it also cuts down on dishes, because when you're boondocking and everything, you know, you don't want to suddenly have 30 utensils in there that you have to wash. So that's our half a hack, is only have 1 utensil of each kind for each person that's traveling with. This is a tip that we figured out just through our years of travel. I always had extra garbage. Like if we were boondocking somewhere, there's no place to put your garbage. If you're in a state park or a campground, they usually have dumpsters or garbage receptacles that you can put your garbage in. But if you're boondocking, or maybe you're staying at a Harvest Host or a Boondocker's Welcome, you have no place to put your garbage. So what we found, instead of using like a kitchen 13-gallon garbage bag, we just use these simple grocery bags, and we'll fill this with our garbage. And then places to get rid of it when you're boondocking, if you're someplace that doesn't have a receptacle, is to go to gas stations. Sometimes store parking lots like a Walmart or a grocery store will have a garbage receptacle, and also public parks. So if you take dogs for a walk, there's a garbage can there, you can take this and throw it in. Obviously if you have a big 13-gallon bag, that'd be too much to take and throw in. So we found that getting rid of just one little bag like this a day at a gas station or a park or a store parking lot works really well for us. So that's kind of a little trick, because that was a problem that I'd never thought of. It was like, okay, for a place that doesn't have a receptacle, what do you do with all the garbage? So that's another simple hack for you. So I hope some of these tips help you on your travels. And if you have any great tips that you want to share, please put them in the comments down below, and I hope to see you on our next adventure.